Hello, my name is Milo. Welcome to my rural DoorDash ride-along, but I'm not in a rural market today. If you watched my last couple of videos, I brought myself up to a DoorDash 100% acceptance rate, and I'm about to tank it. I just drove up to Philomath, which is part of the Corvallis, Albany DoorDash zone. Probably gonna have to do a face scan to prove my identity. Yep, I sure do. I am going to spend about 6 hours here. I'm gonna cherry pick DoorDash and Uber Eats both, which I'm not a big cherry picker, but I'm doing that today, and I wanna see if using both apps and being very selective for about 6 hours, can I make enough money to justify the round trip that I'm making? Will I have at least a 1-to-1 dollar to mile ratio, including the commute? And can I make a minimum of $120 in 6 hours? Because that'd be $20 an hour. I prefer to make $150 or $200. That'd be even better. So I started the day with declining a crap ton of mostly Uber Eats package deliveries. There was one Uber Eats shop and deliver and two DoorDash offers as well. But I declined all of them because they were all upside down. The first one I'm accepting is a DoorDash 6 for 3 from Timbertown Coffee. And now I've got an Uber Eats shopping order, which I'm taking because it looks like it's probably an okay one. And then I got a Starbucks add-on from Uber Eats. DoorDash is paused. I don't dirty stack. So the good news was that Starbucks and that Safeway were in the same parking lot. The bad news was that both the items this customer wanted at Safeway were out of stock. One of them I found a shelf tag, the other I did not, but apparently Uber Eats doesn't care about shelf tag photos when the item's out of stock. This is my first time doing a shopping order on Uber Eats, by the way. I think I prefer DoorDash for it, but sample size of one where it didn't go well is not really much to go off of. Then I was doing the Starbucks delivery first, as prescribed by Uber Eats, and I got to the apartment complex and there was no legal parking spaces, and there was a parking enforcement officer actively going around to check for violations. I ended up using an illegal parking spot with my hazards and just booked it to drop it off at the door and run right back to the car. I did not get a ticket. After completing that double Uber Eats delivery, I declined 3 upside down DoorDash orders in a row. Then I accepted a DoorDash offer. I know it's not really that good because for a stack, 6 for 2 is not that great. But it seems like the quality of the orders I'm getting is not that great, and it's not upside down. So I'm just gonna accept this. I made a mistake. Not just about the pay on this order, but there's nowhere to park. No, I'm not turning there. I just tried that street. There's nowhere to park near Subway. So I'm just trying to find anywhere to park. Nope, that's reserved. I can't do that either. Oh, for Pete's sake. They have their own parking lot. I was just approaching and seeing no street parking anywhere. They have their own parking lot. I didn't need to keep going around the block. It's actually kind of a miracle I found a place to parallel park directly outside the university dorm building that I was delivering the second drop-off to. That was the Panera Bread. That was the no tip. Unsurprising with the payout that one of them didn't have a tip. And this was a hand it to the customer. And he had the dorm room listed, like what apartment number, but the outer door was unsurprisingly locked. So I messaged and said, I'm here. Should I meet you outside? The door's locked. And he did come down to meet me. Took him a couple minutes. And now I've got a very small Safeway shopping order. I hope this doesn't take too long. After completing that, I got another small shopping order, this time from Fred Meyer. Not going very far. I'm gonna take this one too. These little orders will add up. So that delivery was basically a care package from a parent to a college student who was not feeling well. Then I got a DoorDash offer for Market of Choice, and I don't know this store at all, so I wasn't sure if it was gonna be an easy one or a difficult one. The pay looked okay, but it did have 8 miles attached. I decided to just pass on that. And then I got a Subway offer, which wasn't bad, but I declined it. I'm hoping the quality of the orders will improve as we get toward lunchtime, but we'll see. All right, I'm trying to get out of the OSU campus area because those deliveries are tough for parking, but also it's just such heavy traffic because of all the students trying to walk across the street that you just keep stopping for pedestrians constantly. I declined another upside down Uber Eats package delivery, and then Uber Eats sent me food delivery for $3, which, if I'm cherry picking, I'm not going to do that. I am taking this $3 DoorDash Starbucks offer, and the reason why, I saw that the house icon on the map was really close to where I was in traffic, so I knew it was not in the dead center of University. So this Starbucks customer put in the delivery notes specifically which apartment it is and all of that, but also said, please text right away because I've had stuff get stolen. So I will absolutely follow those instructions. I actually let her know as I was leaving Starbucks that I received the note. After declining a $2 DoorDash 7-Eleven order, I picked up this $5 Uber Eats order from Bodie Bakery, is that what it said? So to clarify, my definition of cherry picking is not like I'm only accepting orders that are $10 or more, or I'm only accepting orders that are at least $2 a mile. I'm not treating it that way. I'm being a little more subjective and allowing my gut to lead me on some of these. I'm also trying not to tank my acceptance rate below platinum, because in my market, DoorDash requires a 70% acceptance rate to be platinum, and I don't want to go below that. On Uber Eats, I'm not worried about the rewards tiers, at least not right now. All right, Dairy Queen and Wingstop, 7 for $8. Nope. At about $50 so far in 3 hours. Oh yeah, my pace is not where I want it to be. I need to either get some better offers or higher volume. Well, it's low ball, but it's not upside down. $4 for 1.5 miles from Everbowl. Turn Uber offline. All right, let's open navigation. Here we go. So I declined a couple of offers, and then I got this retail pickup from 7-Eleven that I happen to be very close to, and it's going less than a mile, so I'm gonna take this even though it's not a huge payout. Now I'm taking another $5 for less than a mile offer. This one's from Chipotle. And I got that picked up. Did have to wait a few minutes for it. They had their own parking lot, but the only spot available was at this really awkward angle to get into. It's easier to get out of than get in. And as soon as I had parked, I got out of the car and saw that there was a nail on the ground very close to my tire. I'm like, I'm so glad I missed that. Moved it to the sidewalk because I didn't want someone else to get a nail in their tire either. Now I got a stack to pick up 2 more Chipotle orders, and also not going very far either, so let's do these. And I had to do the same squishy tight parking space again. And there was another nail on the ground that I found and kicked over to the sidewalk, so if I get another Chipotle order, I'm probably going to decline it, just because getting in and out of that spot and worrying about a nail in my tire is just, probably not worth it. While I was in the process of dropping off the first of those Chipotle orders, I got an add-on for $2, which sounds kind of dumb, so I said no thank you. So I declined 2 offers in a row, and then I accepted this Subway offer. It's $4, but it's not a stack for a ridiculously low amount, and the positioning looks reasonable, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I'm taking a 16 for 13, and I'll tell you why. Even though it's barely over $1 a mile with the distance, I need to give my phone some time to actually charge because the battery's running low. While I'm doing this 24-minute drive to the customer and my phone is slowly charging, I just wanted to say, I think this has not been as successful as I wanted. I'll go over the numbers when I get to the end because it's hard for me to track what's going on in 2 apps at once. But I don't think I've reached my goals. And I think part of it is I chose a Tuesday morning. I wanted to do a weekend or at least an evening, but as it fell out, I reached my 100% acceptance rate on a Sunday, and then Monday I wasn't able to go, and then now it's Tuesday, and I've got a commitment at 4 o'clock. So if I want to do 6 hours, I got to start in the morning, early in the morning. So I got kind of stuck with this day, and if I put it off any longer, then I have to maintain the 100% acceptance rate at home for longer, and I don't want to do that. The other thing too is this is a busy week for me. I've got so much stuff going on this week, and doing that 100% acceptance rate challenge for the last 2 weeks was kind of stressful. And dashing in Corvallis, I've done this before. I do find it a little bit stressful just because of parking alone. And then I was adding the multi-apping with Uber Eats, which I've never done in Corvallis before. That was a lot. I'm not enjoying it as much as I expected to. I then got offers from Uber Eats and DoorDash at the same time. The Uber Eats one covered up the DoorDash one, so I couldn't see what the DoorDash one was until I either accepted or declined Uber Eats. I decided to decline the Uber Eats one because I think that was picking up and dropping off all in the OSU campus area. I'm not 100% certain about that. And I accepted the DoorDash one. It was a Safeway retail pickup with restricted items. Only $5, but it's taking me the rest of the way back into town. I might be making another mistake, but I'm taking a $9 9-mile offer from Uber Eats because I think it's positioning me to the part of town I want to be in. I think. But because the offer popped up in front of DoorDash, I actually can't see the map. I can only see the street I'm going to. I don't know my way around town that well that I know all the street names. Navigation tried to exit me out of their parking lot with a left turn where it said right turn only. And so I lost like 2 or 3 minutes trying to reroute. And now I'm on track. And this is not going to the part of town I thought it was going to. Then I declined 2 shopping orders, one from each platform. I declined the DoorDash one because I didn't like where it was going, and I declined the Uber Eats one because I couldn't tell if it said it was one that I needed the card for, and I haven't got the card yet. Declined both of those, and then I realized it's 1:30. I'm not at my goal at all. But I'm gonna go get myself lunch, then I'll drive back. So, I just got myself a late lunch, and now I'm gonna drive back to the coast. So, while I was having lunch, I was going over my numbers a little bit, and I'm not gonna be reading off of any notes because I'm driving, so if I misspeak, you will see a correction on the screen. I'll put it all on the screen anyway, either way. But I think I made $113, drove 163 miles, or will have by the time I get home, and I was out for almost 6 hours. It's 5 hours, 55 minutes. I thought I started at 7:30. It was actually 7:35. I logged out at 1:30. So I made about 70 cents a mile and $19 an hour. So I neither hit my target income, my target hourly rate, or my target dollar to mile ratio. Kinda sucks. I made a number of mistakes. I acknowledge that. I just wish the offers were better, because I accepted 12 out of 28 DoorDash orders. My acceptance rate is now down to 84%. I don't even know how many Uber Eats offers I declined because of how many back-to-back package deliveries that were upside down. And running 2 apps at once, I'm not sure if it really helped. So I will probably not repeat this experiment, at least not exactly the same. I would be curious to hear your feedback. If you were dashing in this market, or if you do DoorDash in Corvallis, what would you do differently and why? I'd be very curious to hear. I think it could be informative and educational. Even if I disagree with you, it would still be very interesting. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to see whatever I end up posting next. Happy dashing.